We're in a time like that. During these times, people will go crazy. And I don't mean that, I mean that in the literal sense of the word. They will go crazy. This sort of portends that this is all the damage that the emperor who has no clothes is causing and has caused. So because this looks like, this feels really stuck, I'm going to choose 3 more cards to see if we can get more information. And we're navigating through this in the next year and a half, feeling isolated on the world stage. So in the next year and a half for the United States, we're finding our... Yeah, hello, and thank you for being here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Annette Dion. I live in the United States, and I'm on the East Coast in the state of Massachusetts, and I have been a practicing professional psychic for over 3 decades. Having found my talents at a very young age, I have practiced because of my passion for helping people. I've practiced reading the tarot. I've always felt that I have a strong, almost a need to help others. Because I think if you have an ability to help others, it will show up as a feeling like I must do this. So that's what's led me into the direction of being a professional psychic. I'm also a musician and a songwriter, and I'm highly focused on the spiritual side of things, to the point where my YouTube, the person who's helping me with my YouTube channel, keeps trying to persuade me to do one subject matter, which is political, and to not do the spiritual subject matter unless it's on a separate channel. So I'm sort of debating that right now, how to do that, and soon I'll have 2 channels. The political channel is that I do psychic readings on the daily political news in the States, which is really about the entire world, too, because everything affects everything else, right?
Yes, it's such a pleasure to have you here today. And one thing I love about your work is that you don't just read cards, so you read the energy behind what's happening in the world. So
Wow.
many people think tarot predicts a fixed future.
Tarot?
So, yeah. And do you see it that way?
That's an excellent question. When I first started doing readings in Nashville, Tennessee, I lived there for 11 years. I'm from here. I would encounter people that would get readings from me, and the thing about getting a reading with me is I don't leave the person hanging. We all have conflicts in our lives. We all have problems. We all have things that we're working through. This is, I call it Earth School. We're in Earth School. So we're always learning, but we learn through our mistakes, and we learn through things that are really hard, and like death, for instance. When we lose a loved one, nobody can prevent that from happening. We're all going to die someday, but we learn and we grow through those experiences. When I would do a reading for somebody, if I saw that there was some difficult things coming up, the thing about me is I'm into helping people. So for them to walk away with, oh no, that problem's coming, what shall I do? Woe is me. I decided to start adding spiritual life coaching, which I also call alternatively the accelerated growth program. And in those sessions, I use my guidance and my intuition, but I sit with the person. I joke around. It's the opposite of therapy. All my work is over the phone right now, but I sit with the person in that way. It's the opposite of psychotherapy because the person doesn't have to say anything. I tell them what's going on. And then because I've been in self-help for so long, read probably everything, seemingly, I have strong senses of what to do to have breakthroughs. And so when people work with me in that capacity, because I didn't want to just do readings and leave people hanging with their problems. So when people decide to work with me in the capacity of spiritual life coach, I'm able to take them from, I've seen some amazing things, from for instance, being just kind of a shrinking violet kind of a person to being on the stage. Being somebody who's stuck in a marriage and they just don't know how to end. Getting them to a place where they're in agreement that it's, in some instances, it's really stifling their growth. And to get the person to a point where they're brave enough to jump off, to get a divorce, to go from working for a company that they hate to having their own business. These are the kinds of transformations that I see. I'm kind of an underutilized resource because I'm very gifted at this area that I've seen people make complete transformations if they're coachable. And people that are paying for the service, they're coachable because they've already made that choice that they want to be engaged in their life and they want to be proactive. The most disempowering thing that people can do is to feel like they're victims. And the whole idea of what's going to happen. Yeah, of course that's where you're going to ask a psychic, but a good psychic will let you know this is the direction things are going. Here's the trajectory. But we have free will. And if you don't like that direction that it's already going, so I can make a pretty accurate prediction. But if the person doesn't like it, they have agency. And that's the beauty, one of the beauties of getting a psychic reading with me is that they can see that I see the solution. And we need solutions. It's like a solution-based kind of therapy.
Thank you. Would you be willing to show and read the cards for my next questions?
Yeah, sure, I have them right in front of me.
Yeah, I would really love
Always
to
have
see you
cards.
do a reading.
They're actually scattered all over my table because I do readings. I do videos all day, especially.
Yeah,
Yes, I have this as the Aquarian deck.
wow, that's so amazing.
It's a great deck. It's been around since the 70s, I believe. Okay, the future of that's a good question, and in general, the future of the United States in general.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a question I ask on a regular basis. Okay, so let's see. The future. I'll ask about the next, like year and a half. The next year and a half, what will we see? I generally choose just 3 cards when I do a reading on my videos. Okay, we will feel in the next 16 months, we will be feeling, excuse me, it's a loud truck going by. We will be feeling imprisoned. We will be feeling like we're being held hostage. We will be dealing with the damage from what we call the emperor that has no clothes. So I'm asking about the next year and a half. That shouldn't be news to anyone because that's where we are right now. This card indicates we don't know where to turn. We don't know who's going to help us, and that's really kind of a continuation of the same. This sort of portends that this is all the damage that the emperor who has no clothes is causing and has caused. So because this looks like, this feels really stuck, I'm going to choose 3 more cards to see if we can get more information. So the 8 of Swords is about imprisonment. The 2 of Swords kind of told me that it's us it's we in the States who are feeling imprisoned. And we're wishing for him to go to prison. So 3 more cards just for a little bit more of the story that the guides want to tell. Okay, I see the rising of the divine feminine, which is very, very, very strong and very, very powerful. The 8 of Rods. Something happens quickly. I've been getting this card a lot lately. This is an acceleration of events. This is the Queen of Rods. This is the energy of the people wanting to care for one another, wanting to have a country that's caring as we feel cut off from the rest of the world. But this gives me a lot of energy about the people and how this this is the Queen. She's like the mother. Like the energy, the maternal energy of us caring for one another And we're navigating through this in the next year and a half, feeling isolated on the world stage. So in the next year and a half for the United States, we're finding our power. We're moving into a time of a kind of a self-governance. I feel like the states, different individual states, will be helping, not go clearly not going to the federal government for help because we're being cut off. But we're gaining. There's a momentum building. This is about us not recognizing our potential until we have to dig deep and find it. I feel like we will emerge as a strong nation, but nowhere near where we've been. We will come out of this as a very strong nation, as a very what I keep on getting is a steely, strong national security, because we will need it. When I see the future for America beyond a year and a half from now, I see that we are less wealthy, obviously, and we are more a new America. I've been calling it, like, what I'm seeing is like, there's New Zealand and, New York, like, I see new America. And the new America is the next generation of maybe 20 somethings, 20s, and especially that range of politicians in that age range, I'd say 23 to like 33, taking over. And they're the future. That generation is the future of this nation. And I don't think we'll have these old people that just rot away and die in office anymore. I don't think that will be a thing. I also said for this year that this will be a year that we see profiles encouraged. And I think the Democrats that are very young and vibrant, that are winning in the elections, are the new democracy. I call it a divine democracy. Ernest Holmes, who wrote The Science of Mind, that I read from every day, referred to our democracy as a divine democracy, because the divinity is reflected in our Declaration of Independence. We all are born with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's a divine idea. That's straight from the higher power, that we all have that within us, and it's our right.
So, do you see any energy shift nowadays?
Absolutely, and the energy shift is accelerating. It started the beginning of the year. We had a couple of events through my channel to commemorate that. In February, we had a new moon, Chinese New Year. It was like the start of the Lenten season and the Catholic calendar, the Christian calendar. There were lots of astrological configurations happening at that time. So that was the year of the fire horse commenced. I think it was February 17th, if I have the date correctly. And I knew, I have a show that I do with an astrologer who lives in the States, who's in New Jersey here. And we do a regular show. So we had an event, and she was mentioning how many planets will be in the sign, or have been in the sign of Aries this year. And as soon as she started to talk about that, I started to feel like war, because Aries is ruled by Mars, and it's the planet of war, and it's very fiery, and the year of the fire horse, and all the planetary configurations in Aries. I was taken aback. I really felt the shift was on the 17th, that was when it accelerated. And then on April 2nd, we did another event where we kind of launched the energy with our intentions. So I do draw upon the knowledge of others that are knowledgeable in astrology. It's a little too mathematic for me, so I rely on others as the experts. From a psychic perspective, we're in a time right now where everything is becoming very much like very visible. So like fire, like light, everything is being illuminated, like if you shone a flashlight on something. What's interesting to me, and I talk about this all the time, I've been studying metaphysics for as long as I remember, is that we're all vibrational frequencies, and what I've detected is that the vibrational frequency has been very much getting higher and higher and higher. And I describe it like this. I'm sitting in front of a table. If I had sand all over this table and there was something vibrating the table, the sand, just imagine, is the lower vibrational energies. And the table starts to vibrate. It's at a higher vibration. Eventually the sand would move off the table because of the vibration. What we are finding out now is that the lower vibrational frequencies are being sort of shaken off. I've heard other people talk about it like when a dog goes into the water and then the dog comes out of the water and shakes everything, shakes the excess water off. We're in a time like that. During these times, people will go crazy. And I don't mean that, I mean that in the literal sense of the word. They will go crazy. And that's what we've seen over and over and over again. People behaving as if they're crazy in general. As if both feet aren't planted firmly on the ground, and as if they cannot sit still, just in general. For example, to sit for 20 minutes and focus on a task in front of them, or something they're reading, and really fully be present and fully focused. And in my opinion, we see very little of that nowadays. And we need more people to get through this crazy time to sit quietly for a period of time, preferably, an hour. For most people, it will be less because of the fast-paced world that we live in. But we've got to learn how to do that, because you cannot solve problems in the world, and even in your personal life, if we're just going and going and going and going and going, our minds are going too fast. And the paradox of working with energy is, and I got this from Dr. Wayne Dyer's book, There's a Spiritual Solution to Every Problem. To access the higher frequency energy, you must slow down. So I incorporate a breathing practice into my teaching. Very simple, just breathing in and holding it as long as you can, and then breathing out creates a physiological change in the physiology. Then you can think straight because your brain's getting the oxygen that it needs. So we're in a time right now, since everything is accelerating, if we slow down, we can access, it's almost like a transcendent frequency. We can access it, but we cannot access it if we're running around and we're all freaked out and full of anxiety. It just can't happen. So the best approach right now is to slow down our physical bodies and to meditate, do yoga, or whatever. My predictions for what's moving forward is that the United States is going to go through an absolute crisis time. We're in it right now. I do feel like we've turned a corner, and what this time has forced people to do is reassess where they stand morally and ethically. And it is a time in the United States where we see the most heinous, monstrous, diabolical behavior from a regime that we just didn't even know could exist in this country, because we've been a 250-year strong democracy. So as we see this, what we're naturally moved to do is to, well, first of all, we'll crave the polar opposite of that. We will crave caring, empathy, kindness, compassion. What I really work on getting people to understand, I work on it all day, every day, is to understand that maybe you don't see it visually, but that is our strongest, most solid insurance against the whole thing here collapsing, which collapses the rest of the world in a certain way. So we must remain steadfast to usher in the new higher vibration. We will lose people. We will lose institutions. We will lose the old way of doing things. The new generation coming in, if you know any little children, or if you have little children, you can see it in them. You can see this almost old soul wisdom in them. Be curious to know if anybody notices that. The future generations will carry the torch and they will lead the way. They're born with this wisdom nowadays. So that's a long answer, but you asked me a big question.